I'm here for the groom's mother, I say at the entrance, smoothing my satin. Table card for me? The usher blinks. Name? Maria, I answer. Daniel's mother. He scans the list, then smiles. Congratulations. Thank you, I whisper and step into the hall. Music thumps, flowers glow, cameras click. I find the family table. Laughter ripples there. A silver trash can sits where my chair should be. What is this? I ask the nearest bridesmaid. She giggles. Icebreaker. My seat. I ask. Ask Emily, she says. I walk closer. Emily's smile is bright and hard. Emily, I say. My chair. It's just a joke, she chirps. Don't be so dramatic. Please move it, I reply. Guests are watching. They love it, she says. Trash to class. She nudges a friend. Phones rise. I grip the table. Daniel. He's 2 steps away, fixing a cufflink. Mom, later, he mutters. Later? I say. My place is a bin. It's playful, he says. Lean in. I never mocked you in public, I say. Emily leans in. We're setting a modern tone. Fun needs consent, I say. The MC taps the mic. Family. Cheer for our lively couple. The table claps. I do not. Move it, I tell a waiter. He hesitates. Ma'am, the bride instructed. The bride, I repeat. Put a trash can for me. His eyes drop. I'm sorry. Bring me any chair, I say. Emily lifts a hand. No substitutions. It's curated. A guest whispers, is she upset? Another chuckles. Maybe she fits the theme. He crawls up my neck. Daniel, speak. He rubs his temple. Mom, not today. I came to honor you, I say. Not to be mocked. It's silly, he says. Ignore it. I am your mother, I say. Emily's smile thins. You're making a scene. I lower my voice. You can stop this with one word. She tilts her head. Or you can stop taking everything personally. Replace the can, I say. Please. No, she says. Sit or don't. I imagine the years, double shifts, pond ring, cold winters, his textbooks. I swallow. Daniel. I say, look at me. He glances past me. Mom. Look. At. Me. He meets my eyes, then looks away. We'll talk after the first dance. A boy snickers. Trash, Mom. His mother hushes him, then laughs into her glass. I won't sit there, I say. Emily claps once. Great. You can mingle. Mingle? I ask. Without a seat at my son's wedding. Stand by the photo wall, she says. Great lighting. A server offers champagne. Would you like? No, I say. Water. The MC announces speeches. Emily's father thanks everyone who lifted my daughter. He nods at me without naming me. Guests cheer. Daniel takes the mic. We're grateful, he says. To friends who became family. He doesn't say mother. He thanks investors, mentors, Emily's team. I stare at the can. A ribbon spirals its rim. Someone tucked a white rose inside. I whisper, you're cleaner than this. A bridesmaid leans close. If you cry, go to the powder room. Photos are starting. I won't ruin your photos, I say. They're already perfect. Emily sidles back. So, sit, smile, stop the drama. No, I say. She blinks. Excuse me. I won't sit in a joke about my worth, I say. Her lip curls. You'll regret embarrassing him. I regret teaching him to ignore cruelty, I say. That ends now. Daniel returns, jaw tight. Mom, please. Guests are uncomfortable. Good, I say. Discomfort teaches. He lowers his voice. You're making us look bad. You did that, I answer. Withican where my chair should be. For a heartbeat the room tilts. The band stalls. Emily's voice slices. Security. I raise a hand. No need. I can walk. I turn to the waiter. Kindly show me the exit. He nods. This way, ma'am. Daniel grabs my wrist. Then let's go. Where are you going? Home, I say. Where respect still lives. Stay, he pleads. It was silly. Silly as a hat, I say. This was a message. Emily scoffs. She's sensitive. I am awake, I say. I pass the photo wall. Flashes paint the floor. Someone murmurs, is she serious? Another answers, she'll get over it. My step steady. At the doors, I stop. Daniel. He waits guarded. Yes. I bless your marriage, I say, but I won't bless humiliation. You're overreacting, he says. Maybe, I say. Or maybe I'm finally reacting. The usher opens the door. Cool air brushes my face. Music fades. Thank you, I tell him. He whispers, I'm sorry. Me too, I say. Outside, I breathe. Streetlights hum. My phone buzzes with notifications. I silence it. This isn't the end, I tell myself. It's the start of remembering who I am. Alone, steady. I walk into the night without looking back. I shut the door behind me, and silence swallows me whole. The dress still clings to me, heavy as shame. I drop my purse on the chair. The echo bounces back. Maybe I was too strict, I whisper into the stillness. Maybe I wasn't enough. I walk into the kitchen. The counter holds the old teapot, its handle chipped from years of use. I see Daniel's small hands there, grabbing cookies after school. My chest tightens. Was I too harsh when he failed math that year? I mutter. Did I shame him? Did I drive him away? The fridge hums back, mocking my questions. I pull off my shoes and rub my sore feet. I gave him everything. Didn't I? I pace. I worked double shifts. I sold my mother's bangles for his tuition. I ate bread while he ate chicken. What else was I supposed to give? A knock jolts me. I freeze. Then it comes again, softer. I open the door. Maria. Mrs. Khan stands there, her shawl wrapped tight. I saw you return early. Come in, I whisper. She steps inside, glancing at my face. Why are your eyes so red? I force a smile. Allergies. Don't lie to me, she says, lowering herself onto the sofa. What happened? I sit opposite her. My lips tremble. At the wedding, they replaced my chair with a trash can. Her eyes widen. Astigfirullah. A trash can? At your son's wedding. Yes. My voice cracks. Emily laughed. Daniel, he looked away. Mrs. Khan leans forward. And you? I left. You should have, she says firmly. No one deserves that insult. I twist my fingers. Maybe I embarrassed him. Maybe I was too emotional. Maria, she interrupts, her tone sharp. Stop blaming yourself. Tears prick my eyes. But what if I failed him? What if I wasn't a good mother? She shakes her head. You worked yourself half to death for that boy. I remember seeing you leave at dawn, return at midnight. You bought him books when you had holes in your shoes. I stare at the floor. And still, he put me next to garbage. Mrs. Khan's voice softens. Children forget who carried them when they find new shoulders to lean on. Her words hit me like stones. I press my palm to my chest. So it's true. He's forgotten. She sighs. Maybe now. But life has a way of reminding children where their roots are. I shake my head. It hurts too much. Pain is proof you loved, she says. But love doesn't mean you let them walk over you. I whisper, then what do I do? She studies me. You live. You breathe. You remember you are more than a mother discarded. I laugh bitterly. More than a mother? That's all I ever was. And that was enough, she replies. But now you must be more for yourself. Her words linger. I stand and pour water into 2 glasses, my hands trembling. I pass her one. You think I can? I ask. Yes, she says simply. I've buried a husband, raised sons who left me, and yet I live. You can too. I take a sip, the water cool against my burning throat. Mrs. Khan pats my hand. Do not let tonight define you. I keep seeing it, I admit. That can. Their laughter. His silence. You will see it until another picture replaces it, she says. So paint a new one. How? Start small, she answers. Sit in your own chair. Eat your own meal. Smile once for yourself, not for him. I swallow hard. That sounds lonely. Lonely at first, she agrees. But then you will find strength. And strength is better company than betrayal. Silence stretches. I nod slowly. Mrs. Khan rises. Rest tonight. Tomorrow you will rise a little taller. At the door, she pauses. Remember, Maria, you did not fail. He did. My throat tightens. Thank you. She smiles. You'll see. The storm will turn. The door closes behind her. I sit again, staring at the empty chair across from me. Her words echo. Children forget who carried them. For the first time all evening, I inhale deeply. Then I will remember myself, I whisper. The house is still silent, but the silence no longer crushes me. It waits. I closed the door behind me and leaned against it, the silence hitting me like a storm. The dress scratched my skin, the same one I once dreamed of wearing proudly at my son's wedding. Now it felt like a costume. Maybe I was too strict, I whispered to the empty room. Maybe I wasn't enough. The walls offered no answer. I walked through the living room, my eyes catching the faded photos. Daniel at 10 with his school medal, Daniel at 16 with his first cricket bat. I touched the frame. I worked double shifts, sold my jewelry, lived on bread, so he could eat meat. And still this is what I get. My voice cracked. A knock rattled the door. I froze, then wiped my face and opened it. Maria. Mrs. Khan stood there, her shawl wrapped around her shoulders. I saw you come back so soon. What happened? I stepped aside. Come in. She entered, eyes sharp. Your face, what did they do to you? I sat heavily on the sofa. They put a trash can where my chair should have been. Her hand flew to her chest. Astigfirullah, at your own son's wedding. Yes, I whispered. Emily laughed. Daniel said nothing. Mrs. Khan lowered herself opposite me. Tell me everything. I swallowed. When I asked, Emily said it was just a joke. Daniel told me not to be dramatic, and the guests, they laughed. She shook her head slowly. Shame on them. Maybe I embarrassed him, I murmured. Maybe I've been too emotional all his life. Maybe I pushed him away. Her voice sharpened. Maria, don't you dare take blame for this. But, no buts, she said firmly. I watched you raise that boy alone. I saw you leave before sunrise, return after midnight, still smiling for him. I saw you pawn your bangles for his tuition. You nearly broke yourself, and now he breaks you. Tears spilled down my face. I thought if I gave him everything, he would never forget me. Mrs. Khan reached for my hand. Children forget who carried them when they find new shoulders to lean on. Her words pierced me. I pulled my hand back, pressing it to my chest. So he has forgotten me. Maybe for now, she said gently. But life always reminds them where they came from. I shook my head. It hurts too much. Pain is proof you loved, she said. But love does not mean you let them treat you like dirt. I stared at the floor. Then what do I do? You live, she said simply. You breathe. You remember you are more than just a mother discarded. A bitter laugh escaped me. More than a mother? That's all I ever was. And it was enough, she replied. But now you must be something for yourself. Her words hung heavy. I stood and poured water into 2 glasses, hands trembling. I gave her one. You think I can? She took a sip. I know you can. I buried my husband, raised sons who left me in different cities. And still I live. So will you. I swallowed hard. But I keep seeing it. The trash can, their laughter, his silence. You'll keep seeing it until you replace it with another picture, she said. So paint a new one. How? I whispered. Start small. Eat at your own table. Smile once for yourself. Do one thing not as Daniel's mother, but as Maria. I shook my head. That sounds lonely. Lonely at first, she admitted. But strength is better company than betrayal. Silence stretched. I finally nodded. Maybe you're right. Mrs. Khan stood, adjusting her shawl. Rest tonight. Tomorrow you rise a little taller. At the door, she paused. Remember, Maria, you did not fail. He did. My throat tightened. Thank you, Mrs. Khan. She smiled softly. The storm always turns. The door clicked shut. I sat again, staring at the empty chair across from me. Her words echoed in the silence. Children forget who carried them when they find new shoulders. I inhaled deeply, steadying myself. Then I will remember me, I whispered. The silence no longer crushed me. It waited. I opened the cupboard in my bedroom, searching for nothing in particular, only to escape my thoughts. A cardboard box sat at the back, covered in dust. My fingers trembled as I pulled it out. Oh, I whispered, brushing dirt away. Your letters. I sat on the bed and untied the thin rope. Inside, envelopes, folded papers, even scraps of receipts with his handwriting. My late husband's voice rose from the ink. The first letter shook in my hands. Maria, today I worked 12 hours. My back aches, But when I see Daniel smile, it feels worth it. One day he'll thank us. I pressed the paper to my chest. He didn't thank us. He threw me aside. Another letter. I dream of Daniel graduating, wearing a suit, walking across a stage. We'll sit in the front row, proud parents. I whispered. We gave him that dream. He gave me a trash can. I opened another, written when I was sick years ago. Rest, Maria. Don't push yourself. Our son needs you healthy. I'll work extra hours. Together we'll make it. I covered my mouth, sobs spilling out. You sacrificed your body. I sacrificed my spirit. And he laughed with her. I imagined his voice answering, steady as always, we did our part. But was it enough? I cried into the empty room. Did I fail as a mother? The silence seemed to push back with his tone. You didn't fail. You gave. I shook my head. Then why does giving feel like weakness? Why do I feel like trash? Another letter slipped out. If life is cruel to us, promise me you won't bow your head. Promise me you'll fight back, even if it breaks your heart. I clenched my fists. Fight back? Against my own son? Against the boy I held while you buried your dreams? I slammed the box shut, then opened it again. The anger wouldn't let me stop. One more letter. Maria, when Daniel is older, he may forget the nights we went hungry so he could eat. But truth always finds a way back. Do not let his forgetting erase your worth. The paper blurred through my tears. You knew, didn't you? You knew he might forget. I imagined him answering, calm but firm, children forget. Mothers remember. I pressed my forehead to the letter. But remembering hurts. Then I heard my own voice, sharp and bitter, hurts, yes, but it also awakens. Memories flooded me. Me selling my mother's gold bangles for his school fees. Me refusing new clothes so he could have polished shoes. Me working double shifts while hiding my swollen feet. Every scene replayed with brutal clarity. We gave him everything, I muttered. Everything we never had. And he discarded me like trash. The rage rose higher than the grief. This isn't about one wedding. This isn't about Emily's cruelty. This is about years of silence, years of disrespect. The letter seemed to echo back, yes. A lifetime. I closed my eyes and saw Daniel as a boy, holding my hand at the market, saying, "You're the best mom in the world." I saw him at 18, storming at me for not buying him the latest phone. I saw him at 25, ignoring my call because Emily was beside him. The images clashed until only the trash can remained. I wasn't the one who failed, I whispered. He did. I gathered the letters and placed them back in the box carefully, almost reverently. My husband's words were not only comfort, they were a mirror. Thank you, I whispered into the air, as if he stood in front of me, for reminding me, for not letting me drown in blame. I imagined him smiling faintly. You're stronger than you think, Maria. I straightened my back. Then maybe it's time I remember who I was before I became only a mother. Maybe it's time to fight for me. The box sat quietly, but it felt alive with his spirit. I tied the rope again, tighter than before. For the first time since the wedding, my tears dried into something else. Not peace, not joy, but anger sharpened into resolve. I looked at the ceiling and whispered, I will not bow my head. Not anymore. The market was loud as always. Vendors shouting prices, children tugging at mothers, the smell of spices in the air. But the voices I heard weren't about vegetables or fabric. They were about me. Did you hear? Her son didn't even give her a proper seat at the wedding. Maybe she was a bad mother. Why else would a son do that? Shame burned my cheeks. I gripped my basket tighter, pretending not to hear. But whispers clung to me like smoke. I turned a corner and someone called my name. Maria. It was Layla, my old friend from the neighborhood. She rushed over, her scarf slipping from her head. I was at the market yesterday, too. I heard them talking. I forced a smile. And what did they say? That your son humiliated you. That you walked out. I looked down. They aren't wrong. But they don't know the truth, she said firmly. Tell me what happened. I hesitated, then sighed. Emily put a trash can at my seat. Daniel said nothing. He told me later I embarrassed them. Layla's eyes widened. Astigfirullah. He said that. Yes. My throat tightened. He said Emily was just joking. That I blew it out of proportion. Her hands balled into fists. That's cruelty, Maria. Not a joke. I nodded faintly. But people here, they think I must have done something to deserve it. Layla shook her head. You worked your life away for him. Don't you dare believe them. Still, their whispers echoed. Bad mother, must be her fault. I pressed my hands against my basket until they ached. I should call him, I muttered. Call him, Layla urged. But don't beg. Speak your truth. I stepped into a quieter alley and dialed Daniel. The phone rang twice before he picked up. Mom, he said flatly. I'm busy. I won't keep you long, I said, my voice shaking. Why did you let them humiliate me? He sighed. Mom, don't start again. Daniel. I pressed. I was your mother sitting next to a trash can. Guest laughed. I walked out because I had no dignity left. His voice hardened. Emily was just joking. You embarrassed us by storming out. My chest constricted. Embarrassed you? By refusing to sit with garbage? Yes, he said coldly. You could have laughed it off. Instead, you made it a scene. My hand trembled around the phone. A scene? Daniel, I worked double shifts for you. I sold my jewelry for your tuition. And you let her treat me like trash. He snapped. Stop dragging the past into everything. You're too sensitive. I gasped. Too sensitive? Is that what you think of me? After all I gave? Emily didn't mean harm, he said. You just can't handle change. You embarrassed us in front of everyone. I pressed my forehead to the wall. I embarrassed you? No, Daniel. You embarrassed me. You betrayed me. Don't exaggerate, he muttered. I don't have time for this. Daniel. I cried, voice breaking. Look at what you've become. Look at how far you've fallen from the boy who once said I was his whole world. Silence. Then, quietly, people grow up, Mom. The line went dead. My hand slipped, and the phone nearly dropped. My heart pounded, hollow and furious. Layla appeared again. What did he say? I swallowed. He said I embarrassed them. He told me to get over it. Her face darkened. So he chose her. Yes, I whispered. Fully and cruelly. She placed a hand on my shoulder. Maria, listen to me. Don't stay silent. People like Emily feed on silence. And Daniel. He'll keep hiding behind her if you let him. I shook my head. What can I do? He's my son. Being your son doesn't give him the right to crush you, Layla said firmly. You have to stand for yourself. Tears blurred my eyes. I don't know how. She gripped my arm. Start by speaking. Don't hide in shame. Let people know the truth. But they won't believe me, I whispered. They will, she said. Even if they don't, you'll believe yourself. That's what matters. Her words struck something deep inside me. For days, I had drowned in blame. But now, slowly, anger began to rise above shame. I wiped my face. You're right. Layla nodded. Good. Remember, you are not the one who failed. He is. Her voice echoed Mrs. Khan's from the night before. But this time, I let it burn into me. I lifted my chin. Then I won't hide anymore. The market noise rushed back, but the whispers no longer pierced me. They were only noise. Inside me, something sharper stirred, betrayal, yes, but also resolve. When Layla first told me about the women's support group, I hesitated. I don't want to sit in a circle and cry in front of strangers, I said. You won't cry, she replied. You'll see yourself in them. That's healing. So, on a humid afternoon, I walked into the small community hall. The air smelled of tea and worn carpets. A dozen women sat in plastic chairs, murmuring softly. A tall woman with kind eyes greeted me. Welcome. I'm Farah. We just share here, no judgment. I nodded nervously and took a seat. The session began with introductions. One by one, women spoke. My son moved abroad, one said. He promised to send for me. 5 years now, nothing. My husband left me for another woman, another whispered. My children call her Mama. A third woman clenched her fists. My daughter says I embarrass her. She won't even walk with me in public. Their words pierced me. Each story was a mirror of loneliness, betrayal, abandonment. Farah turned to me. Would you like to share? My throat tightened. No, not today. That's all right, she said gently. I listened as the women comforted one another, not with pity, but with nods of recognition. Their pain was different, but the echo was the same. We gave, and they forgot. The next week I returned. Again I listened. A woman named Cyrus said, I was kicked out by my own brother after caring for him for years. Another, Yasmin, added, my sons only visit when they need money. Something inside me cracked. I raised my hand. May I? Farah smiled. Yes, please. I swallowed hard. At my son's wedding, they put a trash can where my chair should have been. Gasps filled the room. One woman whispered, unbelievable. Another muttered, cruel. I forced myself to continue. Emily, my daughter-in-law, laughed. Daniel, my own son, looked away. When I left, he told me I embarrassed them. The silence was heavy. My chest burned. I thought maybe I failed him. Maybe I wasn't enough. Then applause erupted, not mocking laughter, but a wave of hands clapping for me. I froze. Why are you clapping? Syra leaned forward. Because you spoke your truth. That takes courage. Yasmin nodded. Because you stood up and walked away. Tears stung my eyes. For once my pain feels like it matters. Farah said softly, it does. Your story is not shame, it's strength. Do you see that? I exhaled shakily. I want to believe it. Another woman called out, you are not garbage. You are the reason your son became who he is. If he's blind now, that's his loss. Her words struck deep. I covered my face and whispered, thank you. For the first time in weeks, my tears were not only grief, they carried relief. After the meeting, women gathered around me. Syra squeezed my hand. Don't hide anymore. You've lived too long in silence. Yasmin added, next time speak louder. You deserve to be heard. I laughed weakly. I don't even recognize myself when I speak like this. Farah smiled. That's the point. You're meeting yourself again. On the way home, Layla walked beside me. See, I told you. Your story isn't weakness, it's power. I shook my head, still dazed. They clapped, Layla. For me. They clapped because you refused to disappear, she said. At home, I stared at my reflection in the mirror. My eyes were swollen, but there was something new behind them. A spark. I whispered to myself, I am not trash. I am not invisible. The following week, I spoke again at the group. I thought silence would protect me, I said. But silence only protected their cruelty. The women nodded, murmuring agreement. Syra said, exactly. We teach our children by what we allow. That day, I listened less and spoke more. My words didn't tremble as much. When I finished, the women clapped again. And for the first time in my life, applause wasn't for Daniel's achievements or Emily's beauty. It was for me. I walked out of the hall with my head higher. The market still buzzed with whispers, but they no longer cut as deep. Inside me, something had shifted. I wasn't just a mother discarded. I was a woman rising. And I promised myself, never again would I be silent in the face of humiliation. The first whisper came at the market. Emily shouted at his friend, someone said. In front of everyone. I pretended not to listen, but my ears caught every word. She thinks she owns the business. Poor Daniel, he couldn't even stop her. That night, Layla came to my house. Have you heard? She asked. Heard what? I replied cautiously. At a family gathering, when you weren't invited to, Emily insulted Daniel's business partner. Publicly. Called him incompetent. I blinked. Incompetent. Yes. In front of relatives, investors, everyone. They say Daniel's face turned pale. A bitter laugh escaped me. Now he knows what humiliation tastes like. 2 days later, my phone rang. Daniel's name glowed on the screen. For a long moment, I stared, torn between answering and letting it ring. Finally, I picked up. Mom, his voice was shaky. Yes, I said flatly. Are you busy? I've been busy my whole life. You didn't care then. He exhaled sharply. Please, just listen. Things are bad. I stayed silent. Emily keeps interfering at the company, he rushed on. She embarrassed David, my partner, in front of everyone. Investors are pulling out. David hasn't spoken to me since. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I don't know what to do, he admitted. I need your advice. I laughed, short and cold. My advice? You mocked me with her. You stood silent while she put a trash can at my seat. Now you expect guidance. Mom, please, he whispered. I made a mistake. No, I said firmly. You made a choice. You chose her. Silence stretched across the line. Then he said, I thought you'd always be on my side. I said quietly, until you pushed me out. Later that week, Layla came again. I saw David today, she said. Do you know what he told me? He's cutting ties with Daniel. He said Emily insulted his wife too. Called her small-minded in front of guests. I shook my head. Emily's mask is slipping. Exactly, Layla agreed. People are starting to see her true nature. That evening, Daniel called again. I ignored it. Then a message came. Mom, please. I'm losing everything. I stared at the words. Once I would have rushed to him, arms open. Now my hands didn't move. The next morning, he showed up at my door. His face was drawn, eyes tired. Mom, he said softly. I crossed my arms. You shouldn't be here. I didn't know where else to go. You have a wife, I replied. Go to her. She doesn't listen, he muttered. She controls everything. I can't breathe. And you let her, I shot back. He flinched. I thought she was strong, confident, but she's tearing everything apart. Do you remember, I asked, how you once told me I was too sensitive? That I embarrassed you? His face darkened. I was wrong. I shook my head. You were cruel. Mom, I need you now, he pleaded. Please help me fix this. My voice hardened. You didn't need me when you had your seat at the table. When she mocked me, you stood silent. Now that she mocks you, suddenly I matter. Tears welled in his eyes. You're my mother. I thought you'd forgive me. I am your mother, I said. That's why the wound runs so deep. He bowed his head. I don't know what to do. Then learn, I replied. Learn what it feels like to be discarded. He lifted his head slowly. So you won't help me? No, I said, my heart steady for the first time. You chose her. Live with the choice. He left, shoulders heavy without another word. That night, I sat by the window, thinking of the boy who once held my hand at the market, begging me for sweets. I remembered the letters from my husband, warning me that Daniel might forget. And now I saw it all clearly. Forgetting has consequences. The next week, more whispers floated through the market. Emily argued with the investors again. They're pulling out. David's already moved on to a new venture. I walked past, my chin high. No one dared mock me now. They saw Daniel and Emily unraveling, and the whispers had turned on them. At home, I checked my phone. Another message from Daniel. Please, Mom. I'm losing everything. Just talk to me. I typed one reply. When you learn respect, maybe I'll answer. Then I turned the phone off. For the first time, he was the one reaching for me, and I was the one turning away. Daniel stood in my doorway, his shoulders hunched, his face streaked with tears. Behind him, Emily leaned against the car, her arms crossed, her eyes sharp as glass. Mom, Daniel choked. I was blind. Forgive me. I folded my arms. Now you remember I exist? He stepped closer. Please, I see everything now. I see how wrong I was. I let her control me. I let her mock you. Emily scoffed. Oh, stop groveling. She's milking this for pity. I looked at her, my voice calm but cutting. Still sneering, Emily? Even in defeat. Her smirk faltered, just slightly. Daniel dropped to his knees. Mom, I'm begging you. I ruined everything. My business, my friendships, my marriage. Please, don't turn away from me. I stared down at him. Do you remember the wedding? Do you remember the trash can at my seat? He sobbed. Yes, I was a coward. I let it happen. I leaned forward, my voice rising. You didn't just let it happen, Daniel. You looked away. You let strangers laugh at me. You let your wife call me trash. Emily rolled her eyes. It was a joke. You're still dramatic. I snapped my gaze to her. A joke? I sold my jewelry for his tuition. I worked until my body broke. And you call me trash at my own son's wedding. Emily stiffened, but still forced a laugh. He's mine, not yours. That's why you're bitter. Daniel shook his head violently. No, she gave me everything, and I treated her like dirt. I took a step back, my chest heaving. Daniel, you replaced my seat with trash. But remember this. It is you who threw away your own blood. The words echoed in the small space, heavy as a curse. Daniel sobbed harder, clutching his head. Emily's face paled. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. You're pathetic, she spat at him, crying like a child in front of her. He looked up at her, broken. You destroyed everything, Emily. You ruined my life. Don't blame me, she snapped. You chose me. And I regret it, he whispered. Her mouth twisted. Fine. Regret all you want. I'm done with you both. She turned on her heel, her heels clicking sharp against the ground. I called after her. Leave, Emily. Leave with your arrogance. One day you'll realize pride cannot feed you. She didn't answer. She slammed the car door and drove off. Silence fell, broken only by Daniel's sobs. Mom, he whispered, his voice hoarse. Don't hate me. Please. I closed my eyes. Hate? No, Daniel. Hate is easy. What I feel is heavier. It's disappointment. It's betrayal. He crawled forward, clutching my skirt. I was blind. Forgive me. I can't live without you. I looked down at him, my heart torn but my spine straight. You will live, Daniel. But you will live with the weight of your choices. He cried into my knees. I was proud of you once, Mom. I told my friends you were the strongest woman I knew. And then, I forgot. I touched his hair briefly, then pulled my hand away. Strength doesn't mean I'll keep carrying you when you choose to crawl after cruelty. Please, he begged. Tell me what to do. You already know, I said firmly. Respect your blood. Respect yourself. Stop letting others define you. He nodded, shaking, but I did not pull him up. For the first time, he was the one kneeling, and I was the one standing tall. I stepped back. Stand on your own, Daniel. If you want my forgiveness, earn it, not with words, but with change. He looked up, eyes swollen, voice breaking. Will you give me another chance? I stared at him long and hard. You had every chance. You had my life, and you threw it away. He crumpled to the floor, sobbing. I turned toward the door, my voice low but sharp. This is not my shame anymore. It's yours. And then I walked inside, leaving him in the doorway with his tears. Weeks passed, and word about Daniel and Emily spread like wildfire. At the market, I overheard vendors shaking their heads. His company collapsed, one said. Emily took whatever she could and vanished, another whispered. I tightened my grip on the basket. Once, those whispers would have gutted me. Now they were only noise. That evening, Layla knocked on my door. Maria, did you hear? I don't need to, I said calmly. I already know. She sat at my table, eyes wide. Daniel's drowning. He came to my husband for help. He begged David to forgive him. David refused. I stirred the tea. Choices have consequences. Will you help him? She asked softly. I looked out the window where the night sky spread like ink. Not this time. He must walk alone. At the support group, Farah smiled as I entered. Maria, you look different. Lighter. I feel lighter, I admitted. Yasmin leaned forward. So tell us, what happened with your son? I took a deep breath. He came to me, begging for forgiveness. Emily left him. He's broken. The women exchanged glances. Syra asked, and you? I told him the truth, that he had my life and he threw it away. Farah's voice was warm. And how do you feel now? I hesitated, then smiled faintly. For the first time, I feel free. Applause rippled around the circle. Syra clapped the loudest. See, your story has changed. You're not the woman with the trash can anymore. You're the woman who walked away. I laughed softly. I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but my pain has become my power. A few days later, I ran into Mrs. Khan outside her gate. She leaned on her cane and studied me. You stand straighter these days, she observed. Do I? I asked. Yes, she said with a knowing smile. Grief bent you. Anger stiffened you. But now you carry yourself with peace. I nodded. I'm learning that I don't need his approval. I don't need anyone's seat at their table. I have my own. She chuckled. Good, because when people replace your seat with trash, you build your own throne. Her words warmed me like sunlight. Daniel called again one evening. I let the phone ring, but then curiosity tugged at me. I answered. Mom, his voice was ragged. I can't do this without you. You can, I said firmly. You just don't want to. He broke down. I'm alone. Everyone left me. Emily ruined me. Please, Mom, please. I closed my eyes. I carried you for years, Daniel. I carried your dreams, your shame, your choices. But I won't carry this. But I'm your son, he cried. Yes, I said softly. And that bond is forever. But respect is not. You broke it. His sobs filled the line. My heart clenched, but I didn't waver. You must rebuild yourself. I will not rebuild you again. I don't know how, he whispered. Then learn, I said. The same way I learned. I hung up my hand steady. At the support group the following week, I spoke again. My son still calls me. He begs. But I've realized something. His pain is no longer my prison. The women nodded. Yasmin said, You've drawn a boundary. That's strength. Syra added, and he must face the fire he lit. Their encouragement filled me. For the first time in years, I felt like I wasn't just surviving, I was living. One morning, I walked past the old wedding hall. The doors were open for renovations. The sight made me pause. The manager recognized me. Would you like to step in? It's empty now. I hesitated, then nodded. Inside, the hall was stripped bare. No flowers, no laughter, no music. Just walls echoing with silence. I walked slowly to the spot where my seat should have been. I could still see the trash can in my memory, ribbons tied mockingly around it. I whispered into the emptiness, You thought I was trash. But I was fire, and I survived. My voice echoed, strong and steady. The sound of it filled me with a strange, powerful peace. I stood taller. The hall no longer haunted me. It was only a building, just bricks and wood. The real battle had been inside me, and I had already won. That evening, Layla visited again. Maria, she said, you've changed so much. Do you realize that? Yes, I said simply. What will you do now? She asked. I smiled faintly. Live. For me. She laughed. Finally, we sat on the porch drinking tea as the sun set. The world felt calmer, brighter. At the next support group meeting, Farah surprised me. Maria, would you lead today's session? I blinked. Me? Yes, she said warmly. Your journey inspires the others. Share your strength. I stood at the center of the circle, my hands trembling only slightly. I looked around at the women, faces lined with grief, eyes still heavy with betrayal. I spoke clearly. I came here broken. I thought my story ended at humiliation, but it didn't. It began there. Pain doesn't define us. It frees us to rise. We are not trash. We are fire. The women clapped, some with tears in their eyes. At that moment, I realized something. I had a new family now, not by blood, but by choice. A family of women who refused to be erased. Weeks turned into months. Daniel continued to struggle. He called less often, his pride and shame locking him in silence. I let him be. I loved him still, but from a distance. His choices were his to carry. I spent my days with the women, with neighbors who respected me, with the small joys I had once abandoned, gardening, reading, laughing freely. One evening, standing under the fading sky, I whispered to myself, I survived. And not just survived. I had been reborn.